Detective Danny Rourke receives a strange tip about a bank heist, but it leads him to a man with mind-controlling abilities. As he investigates, he uncovers surprising secrets from his past and the mystery of his missing daughter. This is how it all begins. We are introduced to Danny Rourke, an Austin Police Department detective who recalls to his therapist the abduction of his 7-year-old daughter, Minnie, which led to the dissolution of his marriage. Afterward, he is picked up by his partner Nix, who informs him they have to smash that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. Goodness. In all seriousness, they've received an anonymous tip-off call that a safe deposit box at a bank will be robbed. At the stakeout, they witness a mysterious man give unheard instructions to civilians, bank employees, and fellow policemen, who seemingly follow his commands as he enters the bank. Rourke races to the targeted safe deposit box, finding inside it a picture of Minnie, with the message, "Find Lev Delrain," written on it. Rourke pursues the man to a rooftop, where he witnesses him command 2 police officers to shoot each other as he escapes. The movie starts quite strong, because Danny's daughter is already missing, way before the first scene of the movie, and something that drives the main character forward as he unveils all the mysteries that play with his mind. There is a lot of empty space in the movie. However, it still manages to capture the audience and prove to be more than just another boring sci-fi thriller about a Texas cop who stumbles upon a conspiracy of mind-controlling crooks, or he stumbles upon them. Convinced the heist has something to do with the disappearance of his daughter, Rourke investigates. A trace run by Nix on the tip-off call leads Rourke to the address of fortune teller Deanna Cruz. After he describes to her the man from the bank heist, a client of Cruz's, under the control of that man, drives a motorcycle through Cruz's window before killing himself. Rourke takes Cruz into protective custody. She explains that the mysterious man from the bank is named Lev Delrain, and that he and Cruz are both the escaped Hypnotics, powerful hypnotists trained by a secret government division, a sector where they learn to control people's minds. Rourke is mysteriously immune to such mind control when Cruz tries to exercise it on him. Meanwhile, Delrain, outside the police station, commands Nix to attack Rourke and Cruz then shoots him dead in self-defense. Rourke and Cruz flee to Mexico. The wide-angle photography also helps the viewers to distinguish between reality and the Inception-style delirium that warps the perspective of everyone, including ourselves, which is often shot with spherical camera lenses. If you squint hard enough, you can clearly see past the obvious twists and embarrassing conversations that there is a chance for a deeper story, but only if you're a fan of the movies that fall in the same categories as Hypnotic does. One thing the movie does best is to be unique. For instance, the Texas setting, the telenovela slow-motion cinematography, the zoom-ins of violence, and a character with an unnecessary eye patch provide fun in a story that can be difficult to follow, making the entire thing original, and not just some cheap or some not-so-well-done knockoff. There, they learn from a former Division contact, Jeremiah, that Delrain is seeking Domino, a powerful weapon developed by the Division, stolen and hidden by Delrain when he escaped. Delrain then wiped his own memory and left behind triggers, prompting him to gradually recall Domino's location and regain his own hypnotic power. Delrain eventually reveals himself to be Jeremiah in disguise and pursues Rourke and Cruz through a hypnotically constructed environment before Rourke taps into his own previously unknown hypnotic power, allowing them to escape. Rourke and Cruz seek out River, a reclusive Division hacker who discovers Rourke's wife, Vivian, in the Division's database. Later, Rourke investigates River's database himself and discovers that Minnie is Domino, the daughter of 2 powerful hypnotics, Rourke and Cruz, who is then revealed to be Vivian. As Cruz interrupts him, Rourke realizes that the room and all of the events up to this point have been hypnotic constructs. He wakes up in a large room populated by Division agents, all of whom he has seen throughout the constructed story, including Nix and Delrain. Vivian and Delrain explain that Rourke and Vivian are both hypnotics, and their daughter Minnie was born and raised within the Division, but that he escaped with her to stop her from becoming their weapon. Hiding her and then wiping his memory, Rourke no longer remembers where she is, and the Division has been putting him through constructs of the search for her to make him remember. Not wanting to oversell the personal qualities that often skirt the periphery of Rourke's quest for answers, the movie tries really hard to lull viewers into a suggestive frame of mind, primarily by overstating the facts of Rourke's investigation. The humor throughout the movie is quite corny, but only enough to be an acquired taste, which, coupled with the clumsy and probably overconfident personal touches, create one interesting dynamic throughout the entirety of the movie. The movie has a tendency to linger on shots and story beats a little too long, presumably to ensure distracted viewers cannot miss overt cues. Rourke is plugged back into the construct, where he repeats the session with his therapist and the stakeout of the bank heist. However, Rourke soon escapes using his own powers and flees as the division realizes that Find Lev Del Rain refers not to a person, but Deer Valley Lane, the location of a ranch where Rourke's foster parents have been hiding Minnie. Rourke arrives at the ranch and is reunited with Minnie, who is now aged 3 years and is in full control of her hypnotic powers. The division surrounds the ranch, but it is all revealed to be another construct of Minnie's creation. Minnie restores Vivian's memories that she was involved in Rourke and Minnie's escape, and that her memory was subsequently wiped, so that when Minnie would be powerful enough to defeat the entire division at once, Vivian can unwittingly lead them to her. Minnie forces the division agents to kill each other, and she, her parents, and Rourke's foster parents celebrate their newfound freedom. In a mid-credit scene, Del Rain is revealed to have survived the shootout, having constructed Rourke's foster father to look like him during the fight with Minnie. As the twist reveals that there was no bank heist and Danny Rourke actually hid his own daughter from Del Rain before wiping his own memory, the narrative starts to fall under its own weight. What we assume to be certain is all delusion, but it also feels like the story we invested in abruptly ends and is replaced with another story. Even when you watch around 75 minutes of the movie's total runtime of 85 minutes, there's reluctance on the filmmaker's part to give away the details. And that is why the final ending seems contrived, panicky, and loosely put together to spoil the largely commendable build-up. The problem with Hypnotic is not its intention, but the creators overplaying their creative cards to make the film into something groundbreaking. There was more evidence of the makers trying to make it a great film rather than letting it be one. One thing that stands out in a negative way is the fact that Ben Affleck is trying to do so much more with so little, and that is where the movie could have improved before getting release, which is not the case with Alice Braga, who despite being somewhat dull character, mostly spending her screen time explaining her background, and what got her to where she is now, she was able to express a whole lot with a few face expressions along the way. Hypnotic deserves a ceremonial watch for fans of the sci-fi genre. It is serviceable at the most generous of characterizations, and pointless at the most critical. There is sadly no in-between, no middle ground that average cinema-goers can hold on to. Either way, fans will recognize and appreciate the well-worn pleasures of this lightly seasoned genre exercise. The dramatic stakes could be higher, but that's part of the fun with Hypnotic, a bombastic, pseudo-mind-bending chase movie where A-listers mosey into an underwhelming twist. Your enjoyment depends on how badly you want to watch Rodriguez and the gang struggle to pull a well-beaten rug out from under you. Hypnotic may not be clever or energetic enough to keep your mind from wandering, but it's charming in its own stumbling way. The actual story is very simple, so that obviously makes the short runtime seem like a good choice. Subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on the notifications so you'll never miss any of them.